They say that in the cosmic neighborhood, we were the first to wake. Not because we were special, we weren't, but because we were impatient. Earth's creatures had always been in a hurry. While other worlds waited for their suns to stabilize, for their atmospheres to perfect themselves, for evolution to take its methodical course, life on Earth scrambled and adapted, and evolved with desperate urgency. Perhaps it was the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs, creating an evolutionary vacuum that mammals rushed to fill. Perhaps it was the precise rhythm of ice ages that forced adaptability. Or perhaps it was simply that our planet was slightly too close to its star, making us children raised in the knowledge that our home had an expiration date. Whatever the cause, by the time we looked up at the stars with understanding eyes, the galaxy was still dark and silent. We called it the Great Silence, and it terrified us. Where were the others? The mathematics said they should exist. Billions of stars, trillions of planets, countless opportunities for life. Yet when we listened, we heard nothing. When we searched, we found nothing. Just empty worlds waiting to be born, or dead worlds that had missed their chance. We were alone, and we were dying. Earth was failing faster than we had predicted. Climate systems collapsed in cascading failures. Resources dwindled as populations swelled. Wars erupted over the last habitable regions. The great silence outside was matched by a growing silence on Earth as species vanished one by one. It was in this darkness that the Exodus program was born. Not as a triumph of exploration, but as a desperate bid for survival. We cobbled together generation ships from what remained of Earth's resources. We selected the passengers through lotteries that tore families apart. We launched these arcs towards distant worlds that might support human life, knowing that those who departed would never see their destination, and those who arrived would be descendants who knew Earth only through stories. On the day of the final launch, the sky was red with dust and smoke. The last ship rose on a pillar of fire, carrying 10,000 souls and the genetic records of 1 million extinct species. As it vanished into the clouds, those left behind turned to the difficult work of dying with dignity. But something unexpected happened in the cold between stars. Free from the constraints of a dying world, humanity flourished in its artificial environments. The generation ships became not tombs, as many had feared, but cradles of renaissance. New philosophies emerged in the void. New technologies blossomed in the absence of Earth's remaining prejudices and politics. Children born among the stars developed adaptations, some engineered, some spontaneous, to their new homes. By the time the first ship reached its destination, a small rocky world orbiting a red dwarf, its passengers had become something more than the humans who had departed Earth. They were starfolk now, with patience to match their ambition. They found their new world barren but promising. Using techniques perfected during the journey, they seeded it with engineered microorganisms designed to transform the atmosphere molecule by molecule. They buried themselves in underground habitats and prepared to wait. It would take centuries, perhaps millennia, but they had learned the art of time. As the centuries passed, humanity branched further. Each colony world became its own experiment in evolution and culture. Some altered themselves to better suit their new homes. Others altered their worlds to suit human needs. A few abandoned physical form entirely, uploading their consciousness into vast computational arrays powered by their stars. And all of them wandered about the Great Silence. Then, after nearly 50,000 years of expansion, a research outpost in the galactic core detected something extraordinary. Faint radio signals from a distant spiral arm. The patterns were unmistakably artificial, but primitive, reminiscent of humanity's first radio transmissions. The signals were coming from a small blue world orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. A world where life was just beginning to develop intelligence. A world where creatures were looking up at the night sky and wondering if they were alone. We had our answer at last. We weren't alone. We were simply early. In the vast cosmic timeline, Earth's life had accelerated too quickly, burning for its resources before its star had even reached middle age. We had evolved, industrialized, and nearly destroyed ourselves millions of years before most planets would produce their first sapient species. The silence hadn't been an absence of life. It had been the silence of potential, of worlds still young, still becoming. What does a species do with such knowledge? Some argued for isolation, for allowing these emerging intelligences to develop without interference. Some advocated for guidance, for sharing the hard lessons we had learned. The debate continues even now, across thousands of worlds and trillions of minds. But all agree on one thing. We who were born in darkness and fear have become the shepherds of light. We who nearly extinguished ourselves have become the gardeners of new life. We who fled a dying world have become the custodians of a million living ones. The universe, we discovered, was not dark because it was empty. It was dark because the lights were still being kindled. And in our desperate haste to survive, we had become the first lightbringers. In the end, our impatience, the very trait that nearly destroyed us, became our salvation and our purpose. We were too early, yes, but perhaps the universe needed someone to be first. Perhaps it needed someone to make the mistakes, map the dangers, and light the way. Perhaps it needed us.